too bright. Yeah, that's far too bright, isn't it? I don't know how to like film the video because like I need like the sun in the room, so I've got a good light. But then if I sit directly in the sun, now the sun's gone behind the cloud, it looks okay. Do I just film like this? Do I just film? I don't know. I'm gonna try it.
Cut the cameras.
Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are all okay. Now for those of you that follow me over on my Instagram, I did put a poll question thing for people to say, bring in questions that they want me to answer about coronavirus, because if you obviously see my video, you would be aware that I have suffered from COVID in the last week or so. And so I thought I'd do a video on what my symptoms were, how it made me feel, my real thoughts on the whole COVID situation. This sun is just not... It's just no. So the first question that I was asked was, how did you feel when you knew you had COVID? And honestly, all I can say is that it really put everything into perspective, that I wasn't taken so seriously. And I know that I should have, because obviously there's been thousands and thousands of people that have obviously died from this, and obviously I was aware of that. And I just guess I took things for granted, for like going out, being able to taste, being able to smell, and it just kind of shook me, because I was like, this is real. And I think if you haven't experienced it yourself, or somebody that you love has experienced it, then I don't really feel like you don't know the seriousness of it unless you've had it yourself. And so when I had it, I started having a headache, and my headache would last. It was last Monday. I got a headache, and that lasted till about Thursday. Just wasn't shifting. I was taking Nurofen, paracetamols, and it just wasn't shifting this headache. So I was like, oh. But I thought it was because obviously I've changed my diet. So I thought, oh, it's because of that, and I'm drinking plenty of water. But like, my body's trying to get used to the new diet, the new routine. And then I experienced some like pain in my throat, and I don't know if you can still hear it now. But my throat became like, I sounded like a man basically. And that was actually quite painful, and that it just felt like, honestly for me, obviously everyone experiences like COVID completely different, and I'm not saying that like this is how everyone's going to feel, but what I am saying is, for me, I experienced it as a cold. That's how I experienced the flu as. So yeah, that's all it felt like really. I wasn't in any like excruciating pain. It was just when my head was constantly pounding, that really hurt. I'm safe to say I think I'm getting over it now. Like, my taste buds have come back, my sense of smell has come back, and I'm absolutely grateful that obviously I can taste and I can smell. And it just kind of makes you think that there's obviously people out there that have been born who can't smell, who haven't, who've got different things wrong with them, and they can't. Like, for example, people who get peg fed, like, honestly, that just makes me think twice next time about thinking, oh, why is bringing our lives out of lockdown? Why can we do this and why can we do that? But really, like, this is actually really serious. And it just kind of took me back a bit when I knew that I had it. And whereas James, he couldn't lift his head up off the pillow for about 3-4 days straight. Like, he was absolutely out. And that was a bit scary, because for me, I've never ever seen him like that. I've always seen him as like messing on, annoying me. And it was just weird to see him in bed all day for the past 4 days that he had it. And it was just awful. It was just purely, absolutely awful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Did you believe in the virus before you had it? Like I've just said, obviously I knew it was real, because people were dying from this virus. People were obviously in hospital. And so I knew it was real. me personally, I just kind of felt like I don't even know how to come across without it sounding so like abrupt or like stuck up my own arse, if that makes sense. Put it this way, my partner wears PPE every time he's at work. He's a carer. He wears PPE, full PPE, mask, shield, gloves, aprons, the lot, right? My mother-in-law is a cleaner. She wears full PPE, shield, aprons, gloves, everything else. And yet those two still got it. In my opinion, I really feel like you can wear all the PPE in the world, you can wear the masks to the shops, but then why are you still catching coronavirus? I don't know. I really don't know how it works. So that was actually really scary because obviously we were doing all the procedures. We were taking all the procedures into our hands, wearing masks, being PPE'd at work. It just didn't make any sense to me when James came home and he was like, yeah, I've got COVID. Yeah, that's all I can say on that matter. Do you believe in masks was another question, and I'm just going to say, do you know what, no, I don't believe in masks, because we still caught it even when we were following the rules. I physically can't get my head around that. Like, I don't understand how that can... Someone said, would you recommend sticking to the guidelines? Of course I'm going to recommend sticking to the guidelines, because we cannot physically beat this coronavirus if people aren't sticking to the rules. I have seen plenty of people that still aren't sticking to these rules. People are going to parties. People are mixing with other people that aren't in the support bubble. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot. I don't leave the house unless I'm going to go to the shop or I'm going to go and see my sister. That is the only time I leave the house. I don't leave the house any other time because it's not safe to do so, and I have no other reason to leave the house. And so for people that are obviously taking liberties and taking the law basically into their own hands, I just really think that's just selfish. Those that are still partying, those that are obviously going to shops not wearing masks. Don't get me wrong, I forgot my mask once or twice and I hold my hands up. But those times I've forgotten my mask, the shop that I've been to, they give you a free mask. And they will not let you in that shop without a mask. Where I live, there's a shop over the road from me. So even if I did forget my mask, I can literally just run back and get my mask anyway. But there's those that are obviously still taking the mick, still having house parties, you know, and there's someone that I also know that has been mixing with people as they just say got over COVID about 2 or 3 days ago. Now that is no. Because that same person is like, this is doing my head now, we're in lockdown, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I'm like, maybe because it's your actions that are putting us in the same cycle. It's just one of those things that obviously a lot of people aren't going to agree on, and a lot of people are going to agree on some things. And it's just one of those things that obviously you can't control. But it's just shit to know that some people still aren't following the rules. What was the worst thing that you experienced about the virus? I'd say again, not being able to taste and smell, because that just completely took me back. I wasn't able to enjoy my meals. I wasn't really doing big meals, because I just didn't see the point in cooking a nice meal or adding like loads of seasonings to the things, because I wasn't able to taste it. And so for that, I was like, oh, like I just physically couldn't enjoy a drink, a meal, and it was just horrible. And it was the other night I obviously knew I was getting my taste back, and I was like, I want to take away. So we got takeaway. and I'm currently eating some Sour Patches. And then it really upset me when I couldn't taste these neither, because these are just the absolute bomb. Now I've just noticed a stem on my top. Where the fuck's that come from? There we go. Right, you'd never ever seen that, okay? That was something that you just imagined, okay? Right. And I couldn't taste my vape, which was because I've got sherbet raspberry as my liquid and I couldn't taste it. And now now I can taste it, and I was like, it just makes it really realise how grateful that you should be for the things that you have in life, and that you can actually go day to day without having to be peg fed or anything like that, because it just completely blows your mind on how many different symptoms there are, and you know what I mean, like. And I feel awful because I didn't know that I actually was carrying this coronavirus until obviously I started showing symptoms like a headache, and I lost my sense of taste and smell. And obviously I was around other people at the time, so I was like, oh my god. Like it was just awful, because I was like, I just felt really shit, because it's just one of those things that you can't control. And sometimes people can know they've got coronavirus if they've got a symptom, or you can go days and days and days without having a symptom, and then all of a sudden it hits you. And it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy how it just springs up on you, even though you're doing everything that you can to possibly protect yourself and everyone else around you. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone else. And this lighting is really annoying me right now. Really annoying me because the sun. How much did the virus drain you? I'd say it was a me personally, I wasn't as bad as what James took to it. Like I wasn't in bed for days. I was still getting up, but I can actually say that this is the first time that I have put makeup on and I've washed my hair and I've actually made myself look presentable for the past week and 3 days. Because I just generally didn't feel like, why should I make myself feel better if I feel like shit? But yeah, like I say, everyone is different, because people can have health issues that can really obviously attack the immune system and can really make them feel a lot worse. And James was completely different to me. He was in bed for a few days, couldn't lift his head off the pillow, and he was absolutely boiling, but he was saying that he was freezing. And I was like, no, James, like, you're boiling. Like, he was that hot. I couldn't sleep next to him. It was that bad. But he was still saying that he was freezing. But for me, I was still getting up, still cleaning my house. You know, I was still able to concentrate on a TV programme, even though I still had the virus. So yeah, it did drain me now and then. I think it was because when my head was bad, that's when it was really affecting me, because if I was to move my eyes, my whole head would pound, and that's what I hate those headaches. And so I think that's the only thing that really like kind of annoyed me and drained me, because it was me waking up at like 11 in the morning to then go to bed at like 7:30, 8, and it was just awful. The next question is, how badly does it affect your sense of taste? I knew that I lost my taste because obviously I've been drinking sugar-free Volvic waters, right? So I've been trying to get a lot of water into my system, and I think it was the Wednesday last week that the water that I was drinking tasted half of normal water and like literally like 5% of the flavour that I could taste normally. And I was like, oh. And it just kind of like, it just shook me, because I've never ever, The only times I've ever lost my sense of smell or taste is when I'm generally poorly, if I've got a throat infection, if I've got the common like cold that everybody gets. And I just feel like when that happened, I was just like, why? Like, why? And I just couldn't enjoy anything that I was drinking, that I was eating. But obviously now I am grateful that it's all come back and I'm getting over it, because I did self-isolate. But yeah, it just kind of like shakes you a bit, because it's like, it's not what you're used to, and obviously your taste buds and your sense of smell can go from I don't know who that is, so I'm not going to answer that. Yeah, so obviously like I'm used to life where I can smell, I can taste, and it was just weird to that be taken away from you for like 5-6 days. Did you think it wasn't a big deal before you got it? Even though I knew people were obviously losing their lives to it, and this sun. Even though I knew people were losing their lives to it, people were really, really bad, I just felt like not towards the end, because it's still an ongoing process. I think when they announced this lockdown, I was like, why? Like, why? Why are you opening up bars? Why are you opening up restaurants to then put us back into a lockdown? If you want to defeat this, then keep us in a fucking lockdown until it's all gone. Until everything's safe to come out of. You can go to the shops without having to wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? And when they announced this with the lockdown, I was just like, do you know what? I'm not even asked. And then obviously I got the COVID, and I was like, honestly, I just couldn't. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy. And it just kind of annoys me how all these PPEs are in place, like I've said, and we clearly weren't protected by it. It's just sad, really. Anyway guys, that is it for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a big like, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if you are new. And don't forget to turn the post notifications on. There's a little bell near the subscribe button, which will notify you every time I upload. So yeah, this was my video on my experience of having COVID and what I think about it. But yeah, thank you very much guys for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope that you do well and that you're safe. But yeah, thank you very much guys for watching. I am so sorry about this lighting, but I just didn't know where else I could do it without, like, if I'm in the shade, if I'm in the sun. I just didn't know how to, because it just was winning every time. But yeah, thank you very much guys for watching, and I will see you guys very soon.